Okay, so welcome to the She Can Show, where we exponentially shift, heal, and expand through our stories and for bringing other powerful women, game changers, onto the show who share their stories, who share their experiences, who share how they can help you go further, faster. And today is no different. Today I am joined by Carly Hamilton-Jones, who is a mindset coach for high achieving women who want to achieve things that they probably don't even believe they can. But with mindset, anything is possible. So Carly, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. That was a great introduction.
You're welcome. So mindset. There's so many different things I want to kind of talk to you about today. First of all, what is a high achieving woman? How does a woman know she's a high achiever?
Ooh, that's such a good question. To me, I feel like a high achieving woman is someone who wants something else for herself in terms of growth, transformation, who is looking to evolve in any kind of way.
Okay.
So looking to achieve something, somewhere, somehow, either feelings, thoughts, something that she wants to be, do, or have that's slightly higher, right, than she's at the moment.
Oh yeah, that next level. Okay.
Next level woman, yes.
Awesome. So in that case then, where does that high achieving woman sounds like she's not afraid of doing the work. It sounds like she knows what she wants. So where is this high achieving woman getting stuck?
She basically knows deep down in her heart and head what she needs to do to move forward, but she's getting stuck with constantly thinking about how she can't do it, right? Like she's battling her own thoughts, her own head, her own mind, which, is very normal and something that takes time to kind of recognize and shift.
Yeah, I can definitely identify some of that when you're speaking yeah, I guess I am a high achieving woman. Okay, yeah. So listeners, you're listening, you probably identified yourself in some of the traits that of wanting to achieve more, something that want to achieve, but we can't sometimes get there. So in your own journey, would you say that you've had fears and anxieties that stopped you from getting that thing before? And yeah, so I guess in order for you as a coach, what fears and anxieties has come up for you, and how did you overcome those things? Big question.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's a big question because I've faced anxieties and fears my entire life, which I know, is very common. Like I said, a lot of us, most of us, right, have some kind of fear where we're born, our brains are actually created to be on high alert, right? So to alert us of fearful situations. So it's all part of the process. But if you are someone who does want to move to the next level and wants to continue achieving, you've got to redefine your relationship with fear and anxiety, right? So for me, it was about realizing that I needed to let go of wanting it to all go away, let go of trying to kind of almost tackle fear to the ground and say, stay away, and scream at it, and to recreate a loving, nurturing relationship with fear and really lean into it so I could move forward.
Wow, that sounds like a beautiful friendship or loving relationship with fear. I love that, because I think sometimes we do envisage fear as this enemy, and we've got our weapons and we're ready to battle, and that can be so tiring. So if you're a high achieving woman listening to this, there's a better way. And Carly has done it and achieved it and helps her clients through it. Okay, so you're a high achieving woman, you've got these goals, you're ready to move forward, and when you say it takes time, mindset, what does that really mean in the everyday?
The first thing I always suggest is to start to become aware of your thoughts, aware of what you're telling yourself, aware of what you're repeating to yourself on overdrive, almost like sitting back, grabbing a bowl of popcorn and watching your head. Because a lot of times we get so intertwined that we don't realize that it's separate from us. Like we think whatever we think is us, and whatever we are, we think, and it's not the case at all. But we were kind of born and raised, many of us, to not realize this. So we just accept it, right? So to really start to become aware of what you're thinking, when you're thinking it, and even like when you're feeling something, go back and say, well, what was I just thinking right before that created that feeling?
Mm. Sounds like a high level of self-awareness is needed as a skill for this type of, I guess, breakthrough, would you call it?
Yeah, metacognition is really important for us to be able to think about our thoughts for sure. But it's not something that is overly complicated. It just takes practice.
Mm. Okay, fantastic. So mindset is a huge kind of arena because I guess everybody right now is going through different challenging times and unprecedented time. What would you say is something that you've seen in your space at the moment that isn't that helpful, and what would you say to help change that narrative?
One thing I hear women talking about all the time, whether or not we're going through, a world crisis or not, is the idea of what they should be doing, should be thinking, should be feeling, whether it's guilt, whether it is unworthiness, whatever, really whatever feeling or thought it is. When we start to use labels such as I should be doing this, I shouldn't be thinking that, like I should be able to get up and do this, I should be able to help my kids with their homework or their schoolwork right now, whatever it is. When we start using the word should, we're really resisting what is, which causes a disconnect, and it doesn't allow for compassion, for love, for forgiveness for ourselves. So we're basically silently beating ourselves up over things, which doesn't move us forward.
Mm.
It keeps us in that place of stuck. Yeah.
Mm. Definitely, completely agree with that, and I guess based on that your answer on that, what would you say is stopping most women then when it comes to changing and their mindset um, in the everyday?
Well, it could be a lot of things. If somebody is interested in moving forward and they think it's their mindset, what could be stopping them is, not being consistent with it. Like you think that like, oh, let me just watch my thoughts for a few minutes, or, oh, I see that thought. Okay, now what do I do? And then the next day you just go on to being distracted or going about your life. And so you don't stay consistent with it, because there's one thing to be aware of your thoughts. Okay. So once you're aware of your thoughts, then you do really need to figure out how to replace those thoughts with new thoughts that create new beliefs. So it's really being consistent with doing that over and over and over again, because a thought is basically, a belief is just a thought that we keep thinking. So in order for us to really change our beliefs at a like foundational level, we need to continually change our thoughts on repeat over and over again until we see something different.
Mm. Completely.
Until we
Wow.
feel something different. We feel something different.
You feel something different. Okay, so what makes you so passionate about this type of work, this mindset? It sounds like a huge, everybody's got a mind, right? And everyone's mindset's cultivating different things and looking at different things every day. What keeps you passionate about this work that you do?
Because, well, on a personal level, I was in a space where I really did want to move forward. I would look at people who on Instagram or Facebook or just generally like walking down the street and see somebody who I could tell was just like emanating power and positivity and excitement for life. And I could just sense that in their being. And I knew if I saw it in other people that it was possible. So for me, it was really a challenge to figure out how I could move out of this like constant state of like fear, being afraid of living, being afraid of dying, and let my real soul kind of shine, so to speak. So that's my personal passion. And then I've seen when I work with other women, the little shifts need, like, all it takes is sometimes some little shifts to really recreate their ideas of what they really can do, of their visions, of their big goals, and really recognize that they are able to achieve it. And then, from there, it's just taking action, right? And I say just taking action, but every time you take action, you have to reassess and then keep going back to the mindset.
Yes. So this sounds like great work, great rewarding work for both parties. It sounds very fulfilling. So how can if somebody identifies themselves as a high achiever and they're definitely going through, they want to shift, how can they connect with you to find out more information?
Well, my website is www.carlyhamiltonjones.com. And my social media handle, I'm on Instagram at Carly Hamilton Jones. And that's basically all kind of one. There's no hyphen or anything in it. Carly Hamilton Jones.
Okay, great. And I know you've got there's a download freebie that will help people to kind of shift their mornings even before they look at their phone. I guess we've got a tendency to pick up the phone first thing because we've got FOMO, right? Fear of missing out. What we missed out on social media while we were sleeping. So you can download that link there. I think it takes 5 minutes to
5 minutes.
Yes.
Yes.
Which is awesome because we seem to be time poor. And in terms of that though, some people say they haven't got the time, they haven't got the energy. What type of mindset do you think that person has when I hear women say that all the time? They haven't got the time, they haven't got any energy. Is that their truth and they're just not knowing how to reshuffle their life? Where does that come from? Where does that mindset come from?
Well, first I want to say that a lot of times you don't even know, like, women don't even know they're saying it, right? Like, I used to say I was overwhelmed and stressed all the time. And it took like so long before my mother finally was like, do you realize you say that all the time? And I honestly had no idea. When she pointed that out to me, I couldn't believe it. I was shocked at how often I said that. So that's kind of where it goes back to just bringing it to your awareness that you're even doing it. And then when you realize you're doing it, just really question if that is the truth 100%, or if that is some kind of story that you may be telling yourself, and try not to say it, right? Like, change that to maybe a different thought that's less lacking and more abundant feeling. Like, if someone finds themselves saying, I don't have the time, how about I'm not taking the time? Right? Like, or I'm not making the time, or I'm not putting it, or I'm not choosing this as a priority.
Sounds much more empowering. Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Okay. I was going to ask another question, which is much more around your, I guess, passion is obviously seeing these shifts and these women change before your eyes and get what they want. Are there signs that indicate that a woman is self-sabotaging herself to an extent and getting in her own way that maybe the listeners can identify with?
Well, a lot of times there's this thing there's a lot of P words actually, like perfectionism, procrastination, right, that get into our way. And sabotage is one of those things where we say, oh, we're sabotaging ourselves, but it really isn't that helpful to say or to identify with, because what does that really mean, right? So it's really getting down to the root cause of, like, noticing how you're doing it, whether is it you're just not taking that step forward, or you're deliberately maybe sitting on something that you should be doing, you're stalling, or maybe you have kind of just gone in the wrong direction for a little bit, So how you're doing it, why you're doing it, and really being compassionate and forgiving with yourself as you kind of reset the course. So go returning to the path that you're on, and doing that with love and kindness, because I think that's one of the things we say, oh my God, I'm sabotaging myself again. And we're thinking that over and over, and really it's not making us really do anything differently. So it's not necessarily about that we are sabotaging, it's how do we move forward from there.
So raising that self-awareness, changing our language, and taking more action-orientated approach and using words that are going to help us rather than keep us stuck there. Great tips, ladies. So if you are listening to this and you are finding yourself in that mode where you're perhaps using words over and over again that aren't helping you move forward, and you are really not moving forward in your business goals, then Carly is the person to speak to just to move forward, because at the end of the day, Carly's been there herself. She's helped many women to transition and change their mindset to make those shifts as well, and helps you to expand. So Carly, what programs have you got at the moment, or how do you work with clients normally?
I work with them in a variety of ways. I do group coaching and I also do one-on-one coaching. So it depends on what stage the woman is at. If you are looking for a mastermind for business, I offer those. And I also do, like I said, one-on-one individual coaching, which is really great to get clear on exactly specifically identifying what words you're using, what thoughts that are kind of staying in your head that you want to move forward in, and then we can get you out of there and start to make actionable steps forward towards your goals.
Amazing. So I'm gonna post Carly's links below, so if you want to book your consultation just to explore where you are in your own journey, find out exactly what it is you need support with, and get that clarity. I suppose it's the first step, right? And speak to Carly. If there's one thing that you want to tell a woman who is high achieving and perhaps hasn't reached her goals yet, what would that one thing be?
It is so possible. It really is. And sometimes it all comes down to a few thoughts. And I don't want to diminish the work that it takes, but it's really, we tend to make it much more complicated than it has to be. So it is very, very possible for them to achieve their goals, for you to reach to your highest heights, and sometimes it just takes a few shifts.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for coming on the She Can show. You know it's possible. You've listened to Carly's story. You've heard her simple yet effective ways of moving forward, because, like I said, it needs to be complex. And that's why you need somebody to work with that knows the journey of themselves. So thank you so much, Carly, for joining us and sharing your wisdom nuggets and giving us much more clarity around the topic of mindset, high achieving women, and where they're getting stuck and how they can move forward as well. Really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me.
My pleasure. Thank you. I'm gonna stop recording. I need to edit that now.